I'm your host, Daniel Hill. Before we get into the news, I want to discuss a fundamental question of why Instagram even exists. What is the point of it in 2024? Is it about entertaining you? Is it about connecting you with your friends? There are apps that are better at both of those specific things if you think about it. Here's the head of Instagram, Adam Mosseri, explaining what Instagram is really all about at its core.
Is Instagram about friends or is it about entertainment? I get that question all the time. I actually got it last week at an internal all hands. And the truth is we're at the intersection of those two ideas. We are not the best place to message a friend. If I'm running late and we're going to grab a coffee, I'm probably going to use WhatsApp. And we're not the best place to just sit back and be entertained. If I'm really tired at the end of the day and need to veg out for a few hours, I'm going to pick Netflix over Instagram. But we can be the best place to talk to the people you care about your interests. And that's really our identity. We're about connecting over creativity. That's why I talk about sends all the time as an important feature in ranking. That's why we built content notes. That's why the reply model for stories is actually based on DMs, and why the way you can reshare something from feed is through messaging as opposed to reposting it to feed. We're always looking for more ways to help people connect around and over their interests. That identity has stayed the same for a long time now and will stay the same in the future. Now, how we meet that mission will change as the world changes.
It is very important to be at the intersection of two unique things that no one else can do quite in the way that you can, right in the middle where those two things intersect. I'll give you an example. Plenty of people know more about podcasting than I do, and plenty of people know more about Instagram than I do. But I guarantee that I am the one that stays up to date most on Instagram updates and gives them to you in a podcast format that you can digest 3 times a week in just a few minutes. I am at the intersection of making those two things happen. Therefore, Instagram, much like me, wants to be at the intersection, but their intersection is friends and entertainment, and where those two things meet around shared interests. That makes sense as a concept, and I do applaud the Instagram team for thinking of it that way. Okay, let's dive into the news, and let's do Instagram news first since we're already talking about them. The @creators account posted that Instagram is excited to announce that you can now add a song to your profile, giving you more ways to express yourself through music. Your profile song selection will live on your profile until you swap out the song. Does that sound familiar to you? It should. MySpace did this in the early 2000s, and that was what MySpace was really centered around. Here's how to select a song. Go to Edit Profile on the Profile tab, then tap Add Music to your profile. You can search for your favorite song or browse the For You section to get suggested songs. Select the part of the song you would like to use and choose the clip duration for your profile. You can choose up to 30 seconds of the song. To promote this, Instagram has done a promotion with Sabrina Carpenter. If you're not familiar with Sabrina Carpenter, she sings that song Espresso that is everywhere. And why does she work late? Because she's a singer. Why are those two things linked? Do all singers work late? Do no singers go home early ever? Has that never happened in the history of being a singer that someone said, it's 6:30, I'm going home and I'm going to have dinner? I don't know, but that's the kind of information that I want to find out for you on this show. Beginning today, Sabrina Carpenter's official Instagram profile will include a teaser of a never-before-heard song, Taste, ahead of her album release on Friday. Instagram says that the profile music feature is the only way to hear the song ahead of the full release. I love this way of promoting music. It feels very MTV to me because when music was released back in the day, before we had access to streaming, that we could hear songs anytime we wanted, we had to really search it out, and MTV sort of centered themselves around this kind of thing back in the day. Instagram is also adding a few hidden features themed around Sabrina Carpenter's upcoming album, using certain keywords like Sabrina or the coffee cup emoji because of the espresso. Do you see the connection there? Because of the espresso. It will turn temporary note messages light blue. And there's a Sabrina Carpenter branded chat theme featuring lipstick kisses. Not really into all of that, but I applaud the effort to promote music on Instagram. And I think it is a very necessary thing that they have to do in order to compete with TikTok. Speaking of TikTok, I do have some TikTok music news to get into. But first, let's do a little bit more Instagram news. Let's talk briefly about broadcast channels. Instagram has added a new way to engage with broadcast channels, with users now able to tag channels when uploading a post. So right now, if you wanted to share a post in your broadcast channel, you would have to either copy the link or upload the item directly to the broadcast channel so that those who are following you in that broadcast channel could see it. However, Instagram has added a new option in the upload flow called Tag Channel, providing another way to offer that content in the channel stream. I really like this. Since we're talking about channels, I want to just mention that I have been saying broadcast channels are a one-way method of communication, and that people who are in your broadcast channel can only respond via emoji reactions, but Instagram has recently expanded that. I am in a broadcast channel for one of the listeners of this show. Her name's Sam Valentine. She's at One Broke Actress, and her broadcast channel is all about acting. I don't know much about acting, but I enjoy looking at her broadcast channel. Recently, I saw at the bottom of her broadcast channel, it said, broadcast channel now has replies on. And I immediately replied to it because I've never seen that before. So I looked it up, and Instagram recently added the ability to allow replies to messages or content inside a broadcast channel. Now, I personally do not have the ability to turn this on in my own broadcast channel, but I will tell you that it goes to your DM inbox, not that everyone in the broadcast channel can see it. Here's how it works. If you go to your broadcast channel and tap the channel name at the top, you'll see an option called Channel Controls. You can tap on a button that says Allow members to reply to messages, and that will turn on replies for members of the channel. Of course, you can turn that off. When members reply to messages, their replies will be shown separately from messages in the channel. You can view replies by tapping the little left arrow below a message in the channel. I think this is interesting. I will link to it in the show notes so you can see what it looks like. Okay, we are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about TikTok news very briefly and a new podcast episode I just posted. So stick around. And we're back. Okay, let's continue with some TikTok news. They have announced their US and global songs of the summer for 2024, which includes a long list of songs that you've probably only heard 10 seconds of about a billion times. For instance, they give the example of what happened last year when Mae Stevens had the song If We Ever Broke Up. I personally have never searched out that song on Spotify, but I have heard it approximately 1 trillion times in a variety of different videos, so it gives a little bit of context to what we're talking about here. The list of songs of the summer includes the number one, $1 Million Baby by Tommy Richmond, and a bunch of other songs that you've probably heard snippets of 1 trillion times. I will link to it in the show notes so you can check that out for yourself. And lastly, I just posted a new episode of my podcast, the Instagram Stories Podcast, where I interview Cyndi Zaweski. She is a storyteller and content strategist. She helps content creators tell better stories. Her Instagram is phenomenal. Her content is just off the charts. I couldn't wait to interview her. And she shared a really interesting story about Steve Jobs becoming a master storyteller. Here's a clip from the interview.
Steve Jobs was not a great storyteller in the beginning, and he went through this whole evolution. He got fired from Apple, and he ended up going to Pixar. And when he went to Pixar, that's when he found that love of storytelling. And he said that famous line of the person in the room that people listen to the most is the best storyteller. And then, of course, he went on, and when the iPod came out, he said it was 1,000 songs in your pocket. And he started to come up with those lines. And now he's known as the world's best storyteller, but he didn't start that way. So looking back on things that you've changed in your life and really taking an honest assessment and then reframing that, taking back your power from those struggles. I tell my audience all the time, I tell my clients all the time, what struggle can you turn into an inspiration story?
In the show notes. Some people like to watch podcasts on YouTube. Some people like to listen to them. I want to give you both options. As always, thank you so much for listening. I super appreciate it, and be sure to come back next time for more important things that you need to know.
Instagram news got you covered, sometimes even TikTok. Relevant platforms in the metaverse ahead of the wave, without a break or a pit stop. Still waiting for Zuckerberg to give me the big job. Pause. Use trademarks and logos with Insta's permission, of course. If you like the show and you gain some good info, maybe leave a review. It's a type of applause. Just drop me a message if you want to collab. If you got some good content or you want to run ads, at Daniel Hill Media is where I am. TikTok, Facebook and Instagram.